Hello everyone, and welcome to the 5th video in the poetry series. I'm going to be recording this on a day that's a little bit rainy, so it's interesting to do a weekly video because it really helps you to assess the changing weather conditions. I'm headed down to Bell Creek, walking a little gingerly on the slippery pavement. I love the carpet of leaves. I hope you've each had a good week. Just show you some of the interesting root systems here and ground cover. If I'm lucky today, I'll get this video recorded before more rain falls. I'm walking down to a bridge that's been here on this property for a very long time. Next week, actually, for the last video, I will be taking you on a little walk along that pathway. But today I just want to show you a view of Bell Creek from this perspective. As I mentioned, it's quite a busy concession road right here. I love this weeping willow tree. It took a really serious hit, not that many winters ago, maybe a couple winters ago, but it has rallied around with great resilience. I want to thank you always for your support of this series and for your comments and your shares. Last week I included a poem called Borderline Faults. And today I'm just going to continue with poetry that I wrote during that winter in Arizona. I was very moved by the plight of the Mexican migrants. It just became obvious to me in so many ways, and one of them I tried to record in this poem called Day Trip. Traveling along, spirits high, basking in the blue of Arizona sky. Cars slowing down. Up ahead, uniformed patrol check and a sense of dread. Windows rolling down, flashlights beam, searches through the cargo for a migrant's dream. No one is concealed. No one pays. Canada is your country. Have a real nice day. Traveling along feels like rain falling from my conscience on a passport stain. It really seemed unconscionable to me that I possessed a passport that gave me free access while others were in such a compromised situation. Just putting a little cover down here on this wooden bench that's become quite wet with the rain. There we are. And the second poem is called Sky Messengers. A few times that winter, I went to a wonderful area near Douglas, Arizona, called the Whitewater Draw. And it was where thousands of sandhill cranes would alight to feed and rest, I suppose, on their migratory path. So at this time of year, with many species traveling to a warmer climate, I thought again of this poem. Excuse me. Against a curtain of brilliant blue, the ballet of the birds begins. On cue from an unseen conductor, a cast of thousands fills the stage, their chorus rising like a hymn in a hushed cathedral. A small audience, turned to the heavens, watches intently, enraptured by the wondrous pattern of migratory flight. Whispers of welcome urge the dancers. Come this way, turn this way. In mysterious compliance, each performer glides with natural rhythm, gray gowns lifting discreetly, revealing flashes of gold for grateful eyes. Murmurs of approval assure the sandhill cranes, this is your sanctuary. Come to your sanctuary. With a final bow, the feathered guests alight on a tranquil runway, where ducks dip, owls roost, and bats sleep, waiting patiently for their turn to claim the night sky. In another theater, a short distance away, against a curtain of metal fence, powerful spotlights sweep a lonely stage. A small cast of frightened actors, waiting for their cue, hide in the shadows, costumes concealed, music silenced. One false step, and all is lost. The dance of desire, poorly rehearsed, collapses in confusion. No pattern, no rhythm, no direction. Abandoned hopes and broken dreams bow down in sad surrender. No words of encouragement, no kind applause. Only the critics have come. In the voice of a siren, piercing and clear, a chilling verdict is proclaimed. No sanctuary here. We definitely are facing some very difficult decisions and some very difficult situations in our world right now, but I think that it's so important that we don't lose hope, that we keep focused on all the uplifting values that have come to us over the generations and all of the many, many people who strive for good. I think of a poem that was written by Rudyard Kipling, and I discovered upon doing a little research about this poet that in 1907 he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. And although he was from India, he was in England at that time, and that was 3 years before this poem actually was published. And at 41 years of age, he was and still is the youngest recipient of that designation in that particular area of literature. I think this will be very familiar to many of you. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose, and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve you long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Although Mr. Kipling wrote this as a conversation between a father and a son, I think we can all agree that the concepts apply to any human being, regardless of gender. And I discovered in his life there were many triumphs and disasters. And although I don't necessarily agree with all his ideas and his own belief systems, that cannot detract from the fact that he wrote a beautiful poem and is credited with many other wonderful accomplishments in his life. And I'll just finish this breathe section reminding you that beautiful rhyming English adds to healing energy by sharing a poem called What is Good. It was written by John Boyle O'Reilly, who was born in 1844 in Ireland, and he was an Irish-American poet, journalist, author, and activist. And because of his activism in Ireland, he ended up being exiled to Western Australia for some of his ideas, but eventually he made his way to America And among his writings, there is this very interesting perspective on what is good. What is the real good? I asked in musing mood. Order, said the law court. Knowledge, said the school. Truth, said the wise man. Pleasure, said the fool. Love, said the maiden. Beauty, said the page. Freedom, said the dreamer. Home, said the sage. Fame, said the soldier. Equity, the seer. Spake my heart full sadly, the answer is not here. Then within my bosom, softly this I heard. Each heart holds a secret. Kindness is the word. So this week I think we should just all share that secret and try to find a sanctuary somewhere in our hearts for those who are less fortunate. It reminds me of something I read about this pandemic, that we're all in the same storm, but we're in very different boats. And I think how some of our boats are luxury yachts, and some people are clinging to a life raft for their very existence. So perhaps if we have room in our boat, we can learn to share that. Here are the ever-evolving colors down by this special little spot at Bell Creek, where I'm so happy that you joined me. I hope the picture isn't too shaky. It's really quite chilly today. So it's maybe a good thing that I'm planning the final video in this series for next week. So I hope you will tune in next Sunday. And in the meantime, have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.